Hey guys, it's Kaz here, and today I'm doing that all-important video, the stats video. Yes, I'm finally doing it. Hopefully you enjoy all of the charts that I'm going to be putting up, and also hopefully you enjoy my new hair, because that's always fun. So, in 2019, I read 125 books. Pretty decent, not as many as last year. I don't mind, it's fine. We don't have to keep getting more every year, otherwise in 10 years you'll be reading like 50 million books a year. So 125 is a damn good amount, I think. For page count, it's 35,800-ish. And I say ish because I did have an exact of like 35,744. But then when I was looking into some information for one of the other things, I noticed that at least one of the books I read didn't have a page count. So that happens on Goodreads sometimes. So I don't know the exact page count. It's somewhere around there anyway. My average rating was 3.8. I think this is about similar to normal to last year. Can't remember, it was ages ago. I say last year, I meant the year before. I think it's my average rating in general most of the time. The longest book I read was 697 pages, and that was The Sea Watch by Adrian Tchaikovsky. And then the shortest book I read was 27 pages, which was Not Letting Go by Danny Keane. And then just a nice little bonus fact, I read 11 books over 500 pages and 10 books under 100 pages, so pretty much the same there. So the most popular book I read in 2019 was 1984, which has been read, I'm just going to read this because it's a lot, 4,236,325 times at the time of me writing this, which was like a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, so it's probably been read a million times more since then, but that's quite a lot. And then the least popular book I read was The Lights by Nathan Kuzak, which 6 people have read. Slightly different there. So on to authors. I'm going to move over a bit further because there's going to be a nice little stat thing here. So I read 48 male, 41 female, and 36 that I've put in the category of neither/both. So most of this is all graphic novels and stuff that have multiple authors, but there are a few in there of people that don't identify as male or female. I've put them together. Maybe next year I shall do it separately into neither and then both as well, but this year I didn't. To be fair, this is pretty darn similar. In general, I read male authors more. I still did to a smidgen of an extent, but it's pretty much equal. So on to publications, I read 97 books that were from big publications and 28 that were from small or indie. This stat might not exactly be 100% right because I don't really know what counts as a small publication. Some books I looked at and I didn't know if their publisher counted as small or not, but from the ones that I could kind of gather, obviously indie ones are obvious. A few of the other ones I know small publications like Harmony Ink Press and stuff like that, but there might be a smidgen of disparity there. Some of the big ones might count as small ones, but still pretty decent. I would probably like to read even more next year. This year, we're in 2020 now. I'd like to read more indie/small ones this year. So on to book types, I read 101 physical books and 24 ebooks. I think this is alright. I wanted to read more Kindle/ebooks in 2019. I think I did do. It's pretty decent. I still have a lot of books on my Kindle that I probably should read, but at least I read some of them. And I also read 7 rereads in 2019. Could be more. 2018 I definitely read more than 7 rereads, but it's still good. It's still decent. I have a lot of books I need to read, so maybe I shouldn't be spending my time rereading, but it is nice to reread some stuff. There's definitely going to be 5 this year because they're on my books to read in 2020. Check that video out if you haven't already. So onto the genre breakdown. I said this in my last year as well. This isn't going to add up to 125 books because some books count as more than one genre. Graphic novels and comics count in that section and in another section, so it adds up to more, but roughly, here's where we're at. I read 41 fantasy books, 48 contemporary, 32 sci-fi, 35 comics, 18 horror/thriller kind of things, 12 historical fiction. That's something I don't like, so that one's a bit, wow, I read 12. And 5 non-fiction. All in all, the contemporary fantasy, I always say that I read them the most, and they're pretty much the same. Sci-fi, I wouldn't expect it to be almost on par with those two, but I did participate in readathons like the Tome Infinity and Beyond, which is all about reading sci-fi, so it makes sense really. Historical fiction, I mentioned a second ago, that is something that historically I say I'm not a fan of, but I mean, when I say that, I mean I don't really like World War I and II books, so other stuff I do like, but it's still kind of okay. I read that many. It's still fun to look at. I wouldn't expect that. I also read less comics than I did last year, which is probably why I didn't read as many books as I did last year. Okay, every time I say last year, I mean 2018. I know it's 2020 now, but let's pretend we're in 2019. Yes, I read more comics in 2018, and I read more books in 2018. That obviously correlates. So I read 48 standalone books and 77 books that were part of a series. Not really much to say about this. Series, you sometimes read more than one book. For example, I read all of the Ugly series, so that counts. I read all of the Mara Dye series, you know, all in one go. So yeah, makes sense. I read 9 middle grade books, 36 adult and 80 YA books in 2019. I'm surprised I didn't read more middle grade, but I think I have in previous years read more middle grade because I've been like binging the Rick Riordan series. But now we're getting to a point where I've read most of them, so I don't read as many. So then obviously that's why I've read a small amount. And then YA, yeah, definitely. I know I read loads of YA. Adult, 36, yeah, makes sense. Also, some graphic novels and comics went into adult, like Sex Criminals, for example, of course, is an adult saga. You know, those stuff count. Next, we're getting on to monthly breakdowns. We're going to get on to what I read each month. And this one, just like last year, has some nice little things going on in it. So, in January I read 10 books, February 20, March 10, April 7, May 11, June 7, July 11, August 14, September also 14, October 8, November 7 and December 6. So, just like in 2018, I actually read the most books in the shortest month. February I read 20 things. Apparently it's a thing. I feel like normally at the beginning of the years, the first month I'll be like, oh, I'm chill, I'll read whatever I want. End up reading a decent amount because maybe I've got loads of stuff for Christmas or I have loads of things that I'm really excited about. And then we go into February and it's like, right, now we're on to a proper month again. Let's kick this month in the dick and then read loads. And I read 20 things. So 2018, I read the most then as well. That seems to be how I roll. Towards the end of the year was when I was kind of forcing myself to read my 2019 TBR that I hadn't read already because I failed. So there was a lot of getting through books that I felt in a slog to get through. I was in a mood to read contemporary. I obviously didn't have any contemporary on my TBR anymore because it's the stuff that I pick up easily. So that's why I read the least amount in November, December and October, because I was just like, ugh, taking like a week to get through books. It makes sense. Also, along with that, I've written down what readathons and reading type things I did each month. So in January, like I just mentioned, I didn't have any. Just read what I wanted. In February, it was the BookTube games, and also I did TBR bingo then. March was sequelathon, rereadathon, and I did my TBR name tag. April was fantasyathon and tome topple. I read slightly less because tome topple. May was mental healthathon. June, I had my LGBTQIA TBR. July was the reading rush and also my library TBR. August was Get Graphic, so I seemed to read more because graphic novels. September was Scooby-Doo-a-thon and Tome Infinity and Beyond, which I smashed, so that's why I read quite a lot then as well. October, I did do Get Graphic with it, but as I was looking at all of my TBRs to try and figure out what I'd done each month, I did notice that I only picked 2 things to count for like 9 challenges then, which is why there's still not that many read in October. And then November and December, obviously no readathons because forcing myself to do my TBR for 2019. P.S. soz if this has just changed because my battery died because I've been chatting shit for ages. So let's wrap this up. The last thing I've got to talk about is my star ratings. So, just like usual, I read no 1 stars. I've never read a 1-star book. It's a thing. 2-star books, I read 3. This one, originally I did mark down as 2 stars, but I was writing a review for one book that I will talk about in my best and worst. And as I was writing, I was like, you know what, I'm going to move this down to 2 instead of 3. So I ended up with 3 2 stars, 29 3 stars, 85 4 stars, and 8 5 stars. Within those 8 5 stars, 1 was a reread and 2 was written by my sister. Not saying that those two weren't 5 stars, but just thought I'd give you that little bit of tidbit information. So if my sister didn't write books and I didn't reread a book, technically I gave out 5 stars in 2019, which I'm gonna say is less than 2018, but also I remember in 2018 stats video I broke down and said, oh, this many were rereads, so technically I gave out X amount of 5 stars, and it was probably around 5 stars. To be honest, I feel like I'm gonna try and give out more 5 stars in 2020. I don't know how that's possible. A couple of times I was reading a book in 2019, I was like, 5 stars, and then I got to Goodreads, I'm like, no. So maybe now this year I'll be like, you know what, that was my first initial thought, yes. But we shall see. Come here at the same time next year and we shall see if I actually stick to that and give out more 5 stars. Because I do love reading and I read a lot of good stuff. I'm just really, really, really picky with my 5 stars, so 8 in 2019. And there we have it. That is my stats video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy all of the things I've been putting here. I very much enjoy making them, and I hope you enjoy viewing them. Let me know down below any of your stats, what you thought of my stats. Do you like my hair? I do. Are you as bad at giving out 5 stars as me? What's your most read genre? Just use the comment feature and then say some words and then I'll reply. It's all fun. Let's interact. Also, tomorrow I'm going to be putting out a bonus video that's just going to be all the books I read in 2019. It will be a couple of minutes long. It takes fucking ages to edit and then it's a couple of minutes long. So hopefully you'll watch that and it's literally just a flick through of all the books I read and you can see them and be like, no way. There's all the books Carrie Ann read. So look forward to that. Watch it tomorrow. Hopefully. Thanks. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, and please check out some of my others. And if you continue to enjoy them, please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days. Well, technically tomorrow, but I will see you in a few days with another video. Bye. Ouch. Ow, that hurt.